Hi, Stuart. Can
Yeah.
you say something about the coming new year?
Uh, I don't know. I'm open, wide-armed and open and embracing it and letting it come as it has to come to teach me what I need to continue to do to grow. I have no expectations. I do have some goals and visions I would like to accomplish in the new year. One of them is to resume in-person teaching, because I think those classes are really powerful. And it gives people a chance to come and kind of hang out with me, go to dinner, this and that. And we have really powerful classes, hands-on healing classes. Every class is a hands-on healing. And sometimes, like on a Monday and a Wednesday, I'll have two of them. And a Friday, I'll have two of them in a day that people attend. And I want to resume that. I can't resume it until this COVID thing abates a little bit. It's really crazy. I mean, there's 400,000 people a day getting sick with COVID. And I just don't want to subject anyone to that type of thing. So it's just a little patience. And I think by the end of January, maybe early February, we'll be able to start resuming that again. That's one goal. Another goal I have in next year is to put together a program where I can raise enough money, to be able to get a center where I can have meditation classes every day. People can come where I'm not doing it out of my apartment, where it actually is a center like I've always had in my life. For years, I've always had a center. Even when I had the house in Woodstock, the whole downstairs, there were 3 stories in the house, was devoted to the spiritual practice. So yeah, there are a few things, but basically, I have no expectations. I didn't expect this year to be the way it was. Who could have ever dreamed that this kind of year we would have, So I have no expectations. I'm just open to whatever comes, whatever manifests, and then my job is to use it in order to develop my spiritual life. And I think, to me, that's a very good way to enter the year because, if you have all these expectations about what the next year is going to bring, there's going to be a lot of disappointment because nothing lives up to what goes on in our brain, But if you just open to it, live in the moment, embrace it, let it teach you, let it really nurture you, whatever it comes. And as growth takes place inside a human being, you attract more and more refined type situations.
So do you state your goals, Stuart, and then embrace the
Well,
present moment?
I stated the goals just now, some of them, but I'm not going to sit around and think about it. Because I've learned in my life, it's great to have goals and it's great to work towards something, but you never attain what you initially project. It's always something a little bit different. And people walk around depressed and disappointed and angry because they didn't attain. They wanted to be a corporate lawyer and they wound up being a criminal lawyer. I mean, the goals always are different, than what we attain. So I don't, project that. I don't want to project that. I want to project that I will work my ass off to continue to grow. And I will have certain goals, like I just said, but I will open to whatever the energy flows through me and what manifests. Understand? It's not going to manifest according to what goes on in my brain. Because, as I've said many times, this energy is neither positive or negative, the energy of spirit. It's just energy. What transforms it into positive and negative is our chemistry, what we are like inside ourselves. That turns the energy into positive and negative. So I would much rather attain a state of nothingness inside so that energy can manifest in as purely a possible way as it can, than to have all these projections in my brain about what I want and what, and I don't, it just creates tension, and I don't need that. The whole
So you
purpose,
invite, you
yeah,
invite guidance.
huh?
You invite guidance.
Yeah, let the higher energy do it. But I gotta be free of myself. If I'm not involved with me and who I think I am and what I am, and you know, that energy flows through, and it really creates an amazingly miraculous world around one. I mean, out of hell, this class came. And some of the teachings in this class are the most profound and deepest that I've ever experienced in all my years doing this work.
And that goes back to surrender.
Very deep surrender, letting go, getting free of oneself. I mean, if you're a saint, you got to surrender being a saint. If you're a criminal, you got to surrender being a criminal. Whatever you are inside, and we're all a little bit of everything inside, from mafia to sainthood. We have a little bit of everything inside us. So the whole point is to learn how to surrender in depth and reach a state of nothingness inside. And that allows the energy to guide us. So that's the way I'm approaching 2022. I have a few goals. They make me work in depth on myself, but it's more important that I get free of Stuart than it is to even attain those goals, because then other things are going to manifest that are going to be even more miraculous. And, we have an exercise, a meditation practice that truly enables us to do this.
Thank you, Stuart.
You're welcome, Paula. Does anyone else have a question they would like to?
Stuart,
Yes.
can you talk about trust in terms of that, and trusting oneself, and that trusting that energy and other people, and to that surrender?
Soren, the second that you learn how to discipline your mind and stay centered and open your heart, all that trust will come. Understand, the lack of trust exists because we're so completely involved in our mental process. The heart isn't open. We're not deeply grateful inside ourselves. But once those things start to manifest in us, trust is just secondary, it just comes. Because without trust, nothing that I'm talking about will ever be possible. So we create the lack of trust. And it comes because of, many difficult experiences we've been through in life. We've been hurt, we've been this, family things, relationship things, money things, where people have ripped us off. Look, I've had enough people that have ripped me off in my life. I could have stopped trusting years ago. And I'm not kidding you. I can tell you stories, make your hair stand on end, And all it did was teach me that, Stuart, you've got to go deeper. You've got to open more. You've got to get free of you. It's that part of you that doesn't trust that attracts people that do negative things to you. And it takes time. It takes building an inner life that is capable of doing this. But without trust, none of this works. Because then the ego gets involved, and the tension, and the opinions and points of view and all this stuff that just not only drives one crazy, but everybody else crazy around one. who has more power, who has, who can control. The lack of trust demands that we control our environment, and nobody can do that. People think they can do it, and they create little dictators. Families become little dictatorships. Friendships become little dictatorships. Businesses become dictatorships because everybody's trying to control because nobody trusts anybody else. And the answer to this is you got to get free of yourself. You have to get beyond that part of you that, that's so wrapped up in your head that you live that way, And you can take a breath, for God's sake. You don't have to keep having to control everything. I mean, what a nightmare. I once said to Rudy, I said to him, I said, Rudy, with the power that you have gained in this meditation, it would be very easy to be a dictator. I said this to him, and he looked at me and he smiled and he said, what a bore. What a bore. And if you want a spiritual life, then you can't live in some dictatorial domain that you control everything. And ultimately, look, we all got to let go of everything one day, I don't care, I've been reading this book about, Spanish, about Spain back in the Middle Ages, the 9th, 8th century, 10th century, and all these little dukedoms and fiefdoms fighting with each other for control over who's going to control Sevilla, who's going to control, Toledo, who's going to control Cordoba. And ultimately, all these guys fighting, they all dropped dead one day. I mean, it's like that wonderful poem by Shelley. I don't know if you know, here lies Ozymandias, King of Kings. He's standing on this, on top of this antique grave. And Ozymandias, who once controlled half the world, is in a 6-foot tomb there. I mean, we ultimately all have to let go of everything. And trust is really one of the best ways of learning to let go. But I will repeat, you've got to have a system inside that enables you to do this. Otherwise, you spend all your time in your head and you're trying to outmaneuver people and figure out and control people, and you don't trust anybody. Instead of allowing life to be the teacher, and you have to trust your teacher if you're going to learn anything from the teacher. So part of this meditation is building a system inside that enables one to do what I'm talking about. It doesn't come immediately, but gradually you build that kind of an inner life. And as you see one kind of miraculous thing after the other take place, you begin to trust this energy. It does a better job of creating your life than you can ever do, Does anyone else have a question you would like to ask?
Thank you.
You're welcome, Soren. You're welcome. I mean, look, you've been coming for a very short time, Soren, but I see really deep changes in you in just a short time. And it really makes me very grateful to see that. I mean that. I mean, I've never met you, you live in Minnesota, I think, but I just see this. Every class you're there, and the changes have been really wonderful that have taken place inside you.
It's amazing, yeah. And thank you.
You're welcome. Does anyone else have a question? So I'm hoping by the end of January, people will be able to come here and we'll have meditation classes and in person. There'll be no schedule. I'm trying to avoid sitting there looking at a clock and wondering if anyone's going to show up. You know, we'll make appointments and people will come, you know, and that's how I'm going to do it, you know. And also, I hate to say this, look, I'm not a anti-vaxxer and I'm not a vaxxer and none of this stuff, but I honestly want people to be vaccinated if they want to come here. Because I just don't want anyone catching this COVID thing while they're sitting here and meditating. And I don't want to catch it, you know, I don't need that. I have people I teach all over the world, and if I get sick for a week, you know, the classes stop, you know, and people have to respect that and do whatever is necessary, you know, to come and, you know, allow nobody to catch this stupid disease that's running around the world like a, you know, I mean, it's like a wild horse, posse of wild horses running around the field, you know. Does anyone else have a question they would like? I only have one announcement. On Monday, I have to have that bi-monthly eye treatment, you know, and I'm not going to be able to have a meditation on Monday, this upcoming month on the 3rd of January. But there will be a meditation on Sunday, and there will be a meditation on Wednesday. It's just that when I have that treatment, there's not much I can do, you know, so I have to just kind of rest for the day. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, well, everyone, Happy New Year. God bless you.
Happy New Year, Stuart.
Happy New Year.
Look,
Thank you.
I want
Happy
to
New Year,
thank
Stuart.
you.
Thank you.
New Year.
I want to thank you all for this year. I mean that. What you have provided in my life has been something wonderful this year. And I just, God bless you all. And I want to thank you for it. And I'm hoping that this extends into the new year and we can continue to grow and, you know, things will change. You know, as I say, I want to have in-person classes and ultimately to have some kind of center going, you know, but not what I used to have. I don't want to run an ashram and a commune, and I won't do that. I've done it, and it's not what my life is all about anymore. But bless you all, thank you, and this has been an extraordinary year, up against all kinds of odds. The teachings that have come because of you, you know, being here have been amazing, and I'm just very grateful to every one of you. God bless you all. And I'll have a class on Sunday. I'll see you then.
Happy New Year.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
so
Stuart.
Thanks for a
Happy
great
New Year.
Thank
Happy
you.
New Year.
Beautiful year.
Happy New
Thank
Year.
you.